A beautiful day in this home opener in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We mentioned injuries a big factor today. Let's check in with Peter Schrager.
Hey, Tom, they say it's next man up in the NFL for both these teams. It's next men up. Packers are without Clay Matthews, Morgan Burnett, and Sam Shields. Meanwhile, the Detroit Lions are without Ziggy Ansah, DeAndre Levy, and maybe most importantly, Amir Abdullah. Charles mentioned at the top, Theo Riddick will get his carries, but look for a rookie, Dwayne Washington, to get a healthy dose of carries as well.
All right, Peter will be checking in throughout the day. Mike McCarthy, 52 years young, a native of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. His 11th season as head coach of the Packers. And Jim Caldwell, in his 3rd year as head coach of the Lions, grew up down the road in Beloit, Wisconsin. So a homecoming for him today. The Lions won the toss. Defer to the second half to get the football, and Sam Martin plunges that one through the back of the end zone. And out to the 25 to lead the Packer offense in his 12th year out of Cal, and that's Aaron Rodgers. The highest career passer rating in the history of the NFL. He has not had a game over 100 in his last 14 games, and that is all the talk right now in Green Bay. What's wrong with the Packer offense?
And that is definitely the concern. Prior to that, the longest it had been a 4-game stretch. So they think there's a trend going on. Aaron Rodgers says, we know what the flaws are. We're out to correct them. We shall see starting today.
Look perhaps for more of the running game here today, and they started on the ground with Eddie Lacy, and he slips off to the right side. Took a big shot from Tavon Wilson, who wraps him up after a gain of maybe 3. Green Bay offensively still without their center, Corey Linsley. J.C. Treader fills in for him. They do have Jordy Nelson back after missing all of last year.
And remember, just his 3rd game back. So he's still working through things, working through timing issues with Aaron Rodgers. I expect that they will get on the same page quickly.
Second down, and they lay it off to Lacy, but read splendidly by the Lions defense. It ends up to the 30. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5. Now we talk about injuries to Ansah. Keep an eye on Kerry Hyder, 61, tied for the league in sacks, and he'll be coming off the bench. And in the secondary, Slay is their main man.
And it's interesting to talk about Kerry Hyder wearing number 61, not a normal number for a defensive end. He caught Aaron Rodgers' eye, not just with the sacks, but wearing that unusual number coming out of quarterback.
Hyder at the top of your screen along that defensive front. 3rd down and 5. Quick slant, and that is a conversion. 3rd down. Jared Cook, the backup tight end, up to the 45-yard line.
The Lions have struggled covering tight ends for a while now. They gave up 12 touchdowns to them in 2015. They're trying to get Jared Cook going in Green Bay, and look how quickly Green Bay is going to move after the 1st down.
Cook released by the LA Rams as Lacy picks up 6 on a 1st down carry.
And partner, I'm seeing an early trend here. Green Bay running the football, getting Eddie Lacy involved early, and the first pass of the game by Aaron Rodgers, a quick strike out of his hands into the receiver's hands in a hurry.
And speaking of hurry, they're in hurry-up mode. They actually planted right at the 50-yard line, so it's a gain of 5 on 1st down. Play fake to Lacy. Rodgers, so good at scrambling, finds Randall Cobb inside the 20, a 1st down to the 17-yard line.
And look for them to go quick again. And Aaron Rodgers, as you just described, Tom, his ability to extend plays is one of the things that makes him so valuable and so tough to defend. Play stays alive, he gets away from Devin Taylor, and Randall Cobb works his way free downfield as the coverage gets mixed up.
It's a 33-yard gain. Last week they only had 2 plays of over 20 yards, and both of them were on receptions by Jordy Nelson. Blitz coming. Rodgers gets it away. There was contact back there, but no penalty flag. Raphael Bush in coverage of the tight end.
Did you notice how Aaron Rodgers orchestrated this? He moved Cook from an inline position to a flex and went right to him. And Raphael Bush had a little contact with Cook, but he's got to get off of that. He's a bigger, stronger tight end. He's got to find a way to get away from Bush. If he does, that's a 6-point play right there.
And the Lions had 17 penalties in their loss to Tennessee last weekend at Ford Field. carry to Lacy. Bounces off one tackle, then smothered at the 15 after a gain of 2. So after the first down incompletion, taking a shot, it brings up a 3rd down and 8.
I think they throw the ball in this situation, but keep an eye on the Packers throughout this game. I think Mike McCarthy, as a play caller, has written a note to himself in this game to press the run more than he has in the first 2. Stay with it with Eddie Lacy and see if it pays dividends. Not here, though, on 3rd and 8.
Try the hard count to get the Lions to jump. It's coming again. Rodgers throws, and it is a touchdown, Davante Adams. What a start for the Green Bay offense.
So Aaron Rodgers turning into the conductor. Watch, quick move and inside, and watch how quickly Rodgers gets the ball out of his hands and right to Cobb. Excuse me, I had the wrong guy. It should have been Davante Adams. All right, I had it with Randall Cobb and the number 3 guy. But watch him orchestrating, and quickly, boom, ball's out of his hands, right into it. Beautiful play, and look for the Packers to continue that. Finding a rhythm, finding timing with their offense.
Point after attempt by Mason Crosby. One of 5 kickers to make every extra point a season ago. Adams, his 2nd touchdown the early part of the season. His first came in the opener at Jacksonville, and now leans in on the opening drive for a score.
It's sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
I mean, every kid in the state of Wisconsin grows up dreaming about the Lambeau Leap, don't they, Mr. Davis? And what an impressive start for the Pack.
And we talked about timing, rhythm at the start of the game. The Packers had it on their first drive.
This one booted to the back of the end zone, and Roberts will take a knee. So here comes Matthew Stafford, number 1 pick in 2009 out of the University of Georgia. Holds a franchise record in touchdown passes, every passing record there is in the history of the Lions. He makes his 85th consecutive start as a Lions quarterback today. Stafford, of course, injury plagued his first couple of years in the NFL, and now one of the true Iron Men at the quarterback position. No Amir Abdullah, so Theo Riddick the lone setback. On a first down, Stafford to throw it. And he can hold around 2 now. This time he'll throw it away. It's a very young, talented offensive line, although so far it's been a rough go for the left guard, Laken Tomlinson. But plenty of weapons, especially on the outside. Golden Tate, Anquan Bolden, and Marvin Jones Jr. over from the Bengals. Jim Bob Cooter replaced Joe Lombardi as offensive coordinator after 7 games a season ago, and the offense took off. Riddick looks for running room, and that's been tough to come by the first 2+ weeks against this Green Bay defense. They're allowing opponents less than 2 yards per carry. They held Adrian Peterson to a grand total of 19 yards on 12 carries. But today, Charles, no Clay Matthews, no LaTroy Guion, no Morgan Burnett, no Sam Shields.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 53 for an illegal gesture. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Wow, what a big penalty that is on Nick Perry. He knows better. He's been around a while.
He should know better. They've got things going their way. All right, they're feeling really good first 2 plays, and you do it through a gesture like that, that's an easy 15 yards. Be happy, be excited. Things are going great, but that's just totally unnecessary for the defense that on the first 2 plays had stuffed Detroit. Now they give them field position and a new set of downs.
So the ball moved up to the 38-yard line, an automatic first down. But again, out of the shotgun, Stafford, great protection. And now the pocket collapses. Stafford can run. This time he will wisely slide down after a gain of 8. You may remember last week he ran right through Parrish Cox of the Tennessee Titans.
And really, his line does a pretty good job for him. Watch the guys up front because there's a pretty good push by Green Bay. He feels the pressure, but he still has clean sight lines and has a gap to run through and pick up nice yardage on first down. He brings up a 2nd and short. So that leaves the playbook wide open for Jim Bob Cooter and Matthew Stafford for what they want to do here.
And they're going to mark it to the 45, so a gain of 7. There you see Jim Bob. Play clock down to 2-1. They just do get it off, and Riddick is denied first down yardage. This has been just an exceptionally good run defense. Maybe only 2 games, that's fine, but you still got to go out and play. They're getting it done.
They are definitely doing that. Mike Daniels, number 76, is the force up front right now for them with LaTroy Guion out in this ball game. Dom Capers, the defense coordinator, has answered all those losses of personnel by playing a nickel set entirely on this series.
Now the 3rd down and 2. They need to get just beyond the 48-yard line. And they go out of shotgun. They're going to throw it. And right at the marker, a completion. Golden Tate, and that is the first down. Tate coming off a very disappointing game. Targeted 7 times, only had 2 receptions and a number of drops by this entire Detroit team.
7 drops total for them. Just a little whip route, comes back inside, tries to get out, slips, but maintains enough poise that he's able to catch the football. Matthew Stafford recognized the slip, threw it low, right into his body, and made the completion.
Well, it's interesting you talk about these 2 quarterbacks, and look, Aaron Rodgers is on his way to the Hall of Fame. Stafford has had tremendous success as there's a quick slant catch made, and that's a gain of 9 on first down to Eric Ebron. But you know, coming into this game, much has been made after the change in offensive coordinator last year. Stafford's numbers have been exceptional. After a 6-0 start last year, the miserable game for Rodgers and Green Bay in Denver when they threw for 77 yards, and their offense has not been nearly as good as we've seen for years now. Second down and a yard. Riddick didn't get. We used to hang out in Madison, Wisconsin with Carissa Thompson, but we're sending it to her today from Green Bay. How about it, Carissa?
That's right, Tom. The good old days. Washington at the Giants, set up by a Redskins fumbled punt. Shane Vereen, 1-yard score, his first rushing touchdown since joining the Giants. New York up 7-0. Tom, Charles, and Peter.
Thank you very much, Carissa. Of course, you have the Lions and the Packers today. Huge game next week in college football. The unbeaten Badgers and the unbeaten Wolverines.
Big one in the Big Ten. Big Ten football back and active on the national scene.
Stafford on 3rd down, wide open down the middle of the field is Riddick. And that is a first down to the Packer 31-yard line.
So they brought the rookie Dwayne Washington into the game in short yardage, and that's what he's known for, more of a thumper. But Theo Riddick, okay, in the slot, what is he known for? Catching passes. They showed they showed Washington, look at him, that nice move inside on number 24, Quentin Rollins. And look, Theo Riddick's going to carry the ball some. He's got to be a tendency breaker, but the biggest plays that will come from him should occur in the passing game.
Four-man rush, Stafford for a second time finds a big tight end, Ebron. Now, this is an off-maligned Detroit tight end, but he is off to an excellent start so far this year.
And he's known, his position is tight end, but he's a receiver. Like many of the young kids coming into the game today from the tight end position in college, they're rocked up wide receivers, right? Former running backs who move into that position. And Eric Ebron has the agility to play out wide, flexed out, make moves into the secondary, and stretch you vertically. I love the way Matthew Stafford on his opening drive, spreading the ball around to a number of different targets.
10th play of this drive for the Lions, which began at their own 25 and helped right from the get-go on a personal foul call. Riddick smothered behind the line of scrimmage. Julius Peppers, the first one there to meet him.
The grand old man, look at him here. He's going to play more. They've been trying to limit his snaps. They want him fresher in December and January, but they don't have that luxury. Clay Matthews out today, so Dayton Jones is also out. It is an outside linebacker, defensive end, so Peppers will probably go full-time, and he looks like he's equal to the task.
Down to 5 on a 3rd down and 11, maybe to get to the 20. Stafford across the middle, and again the big tight end Ebron. What a factor he's been on this opening drive. Another first down.
And he ends up working outside again. Here's Ebron, and he work inside on Micah Hyde, number 33. But Hyde has got zone coverage. He's not running with him in man-to-man. So what he does is he gets from Hyde and then all the way deeper into the secondary where Clinton Dix is at safety, and Stafford in between the two of them sticks it on Ebron for another first down.
See, it's been a long time since this Packer defense allowed a touchdown on the game's opening drive. But Stafford has hit thus far 5 of his first 6, 43 yards. I mean, they just can't run it, at least not so far. Perry there to chop down Theo Riddick.
But don't expect them to abandon the run totally. They've got to keep the defense occupied with the idea that they could run the ball. So start looking for Jim Bob Cooter to maybe not get into a rhythm of first down run, second down pass, third down pass. He might start going it more in the early downs in order to break that up a little bit, but they will keep running the football.
Well, they haven't given the ball yet to the rookie Washington. Second down. Riddick. Excellent open field tackle on the far side by Ladarius Gunter, who's starting again in place of the concussed Sam Shields.
See, the play is going to be out here. That's Gunter, 36. See the inside guys, and right there, Gunter just sees it and fires early. Defensive backs coaches tell you all the time, trust your eyes. And when you trust them, go, make a play. Ladarius Gunter did exactly that.
Well, now all of a sudden, 3rd and 16. Packers have not brought the heat. They don't here either. 4-man rush. Stafford still rolling around. Fires to the corner, incomplete. So an excellent drive, but it stalls. You know, when you're running on first down and you're losing 3, you're losing 6, you're losing 1, you're losing 1, it's tough to catch up.
No doubt about it. And Mike Daniels, number 76, when you think of pass rushers with Green Bay, you think of guys off the edge. Daniels is going to provide that inside push that makes it hard for quarterbacks to step up. Notice how Stafford had to move around to try and find someone. Really good coverage downfield as well.
Strong right leg of Matt Prater on for a 42-yard field goal try. And right down the middle for Prater. So the Packers get a touchdown on their opening drive. The Lions answer with 3.
On Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. Beer with your team on it.
Well, it's not been pretty for the Lions in the state of Wisconsin. You go back to 1992. 1 win. That was last year in Week 10. They've been outscored 28-16. That's points per game. And turning the ball 22 times more have the Lions than the Packers when they played in Wisconsin. It was a 24-game win streak.
That sounds like college football.
Oh, you're right.
Doesn't it? Where you have that one dominant team and a so-called rival can't beat them.
Yes, but yesterday that all changed for your beloved Volunteers. That's a live ball. How about that?
Game on Fox is sponsored by Ford F-Series, the official truck of the NFL. By Taco Bell, sometimes you gotta live Moss. And by Sprint, switch and save today. Learn more at sprint.com/network.
The tradition, Green Bay Packer football, Lambeau Field, Green Bay, Wisconsin, the Pack's home opener here today, and 7-3. We're having a few technical difficulties, so just bear with us. A lot of people working very hard to get it straightened out, and this is Jordy Nelson. Nothing wrong with him. All the way back from that ACL tear a season ago. And on first down, he goes for 40 yards on the completion, 49 yards.
There's Nelson there. Watch him work to the inside. He's working against a linebacker there. Number 50, Thurston Armbrister, and what a beautiful throw by Aaron Rodgers. But you notice most of the throws he's making, Tom, in the pocket, out of his hands quickly to the receivers, letting them do the work.
So just outside the 10, first down at the 11-yard line out of the I formation. Turn and give it to Lacy. He's inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. Eddie Lacy out of Alabama, rushed for better than 1,000 yards with over 10 touchdowns in each of his first 2 years. And last year, the number slipped under 800. There's a lot of talk about his weight. You know, did he come ready to play? And apparently he is this year.
Well, that was legitimate talk. You know, the numbers slipped in terms of rushing yards, but the number went up in terms of weight. And there was a correlation. And they told him he had to come back in better condition. And he doesn't look that much different, but he's definitely a better conditioned athlete in 2016.
Empty. Here we go.
Rodgers wants a timeout. Got to stop the clock. 1:12 to play in the quarter. 7-3 Pack. Aaron Rodgers, 5 of his first 6, 113 yards and a touchdown. He's hit 5 different receivers here in the opening quarter. And knocking on the door for a second Packers score inside the 10. Miscommunication slightly overthrown to Randall Cobb. Let's go back to the kickoff a minute ago that started this drive.
Yeah, you remember at the end I said I'm not sure he knew what he was doing to make a good play. He did know what he was doing. Watch Ty Montgomery. See how he deliberately gets out of bounds, make sure he's out, and then touches the football. He knew the rule. Out of bounds, he touches the ball. That makes it an out-of-bounds kick. They get the ball on the 40-yard line. Big-time play by Ty Montgomery. He knew. I didn't.
That's a Stanford guy. Ty Montgomery.
Went to the SEC.
Hey, your Volunteers a big one yesterday.
That was a big one for him. No doubt about it.
All right, they're down now. They can get a first down at the 1. And Rodgers running room, but he throws it. And a touchdown to Jordy Nelson. It's only the first quarter, but all the talk about this Green Bay offense, it has been lights out through the first 15 minutes.
And watch his eyes. The eyes tell the tale of the story. Doesn't see it there. See how they stay up, though? Look at him downfield. The eyes stay up as he makes the move to find the receiver. Nelson, the third receiver in from the top. Works, finds the open spot, and Aaron Rodgers finds him.
Now point after by Crosby coming up. And it is good. 1 minute, 1 second left here in the opening quarter. Green Bay with a 14-3 lead. Well, the first 2 games, this Green Bay offense, very, very quiet. 41 total points. 14 in that loss to Minnesota a week ago, and averaging fewer than 300 yards of offense. The Packers already in this one, 135 offensive yards. Andre Roberts brings it out of the end zone. Bad decision. Up to the 20. If he takes a knee, they get it at the 25. Well, look out now. Zorn is here. He's going to slay Fox Sundays, TV's most original new comedy, Son of Zorn. Comes to Concord tonight after The Simpsons here on Fox.
Jim Zorn's got to be so proud.
Oh, you
knew I was
That would be
there, right?
grandson of Zorn.
Would that be grandson?
Well, yeah. Jim Thorne, then just, you know, Zorn.
a little generation,
Zorn,
right?
Son of Zorn. He's old enough to be a granddad, right?
And happily.
Stafford and the Lions had a very nice drive first go round. Oh, this one should have been intercepted. Micah Hyde had it right there, but what a hit put on Ebron.
Watch Ebron. He's going to work to the middle, and Joe Thomas, number 48, is right there. And you notice Ebron caught him out of the corner of his eye at the last second. Sees him coming, and he goes for the low shot, trying to get down below the shoulder level. The clear message to Eric Ebron that you better look out for me when you come into the middle.
Well, you're not lying. Second down and 10. And that ball batted down at the line of scrimmage. And while we have a moment, let's send it back to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. Kurt.
Well, all the talk about Washington's Josh Norman covering Odell Beckham Jr. Norman missed a chance to get a pick against the Giants. Very next play, New York shows they got other weapons, going to Sterling Shepard. Eli Manning hooks up with him for a 23-yard score, and they needed 14-3 in the first. Tom, Charles, and Peter.
And they drafted Sterling Shepard maybe to replace Victor Cruz, but they got Victor Cruz back as well. That really bolsters their receiving core.
Yeah, he had a big breakout game last week and the win over New Orleans. Third down, they're coming after Stafford, who just throws it off his back foot. 3 and out this go round for the Lions.
And right now, Dom Capers' defensive guys, they're locked in. I mean, everything that they're doing right now, they're a little bit quicker to the ball on that series than Detroit was. Starting with the big hit on from Joe Thomas on Eric Ebron, and then Dom Capers brought the house on third down and left their guys in man-to-man coverage, and they had them locked up on the outside.
And drafted that series lasted 20 seconds. Fair catch at the 33 by Trevor Davis. Packers' last drive, they took advantage of the kickoff out of bounds and then hit the big one. This has been missing from this offense after a great play by Montgomery, a smart play by Montgomery.
Extremely smart play, but Jordy Nelson very easily gets into the center of their defense, and Aaron Rodgers finds him. And then how about this? Look at Rodgers. As he moves in the pocket, the eyes stay downfield, and Jordy Nelson found some dead space in the zone of the Lions. And Rodgers delivers to him another touchdown connection between those two.
Montgomery in the backfield. It's 14-3 Green Bay. Less than a minute to play till the end of the first quarter. And Montgomery, his first NFL carry. And not much running room. Quandre Diggs in on the tackle, maybe a loss of a yard.
And already we're seeing Green Bay go deeper into their receiving core than they have in the first couple of games. In the first couple of games, it was 3 guys essentially. Montgomery now getting playing time. They're going to go deeper and use more people in this ball game as we've seen already.
Well, the clock down to 3 seconds, and they're not going to run a play. That's going to be the end of the opening quarter. 14 points put up by Rodgers and the Packers. A 14-3 lead. The NFL on Fox continues after a message from your local Fox station. Set to begin the second quarter here at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. The Packers home opener in a 14-3 lead. On a second down and 10, Rodgers rolling to the left, looks long down the field, and contact, and a flag comes in. Nevin Lawson, who had such a rough day last week against Tennessee, got his feet tangled up with Trevor Davis.
There he is, Davis, number 11, running Lawson behind him, and he gets hands on him deep into the route. They're going to end up calling that, so that Davis goes to the ground. It is one of those things where Lawson contacted him and frankly didn't need to.
Number 24 defense, automatic, first down.
He's right there on his hip. He knows where he is, and he reaches out and puts a hand on his bicep, and that's what got him into trouble. See right there, he's got a hand on his back, hand on the bicep. It doesn't seem like much, but the end with the receiver, look at the back judge. He's staring right at it. He is right in there, and that's Jim Quirk. He's got a perfect view. Can't argue with that.
You're the only 2 guys within 50 yards of anybody else. You're going to be caught. doing that.
It's wide open. Jim Quirk steering right into that one. You're not going to get away with it.
Lawson beaten on the 30-yard touchdown by Delaney Walker last week. Also had a big pass interference call. Penalty flag down. Catch made. Richard Rodgers into the end zone, a touchdown, but we wait on the penalty. That was Jared Cook in the end zone.
Holding. Defense. That penalty's declined. We go for the play. Touchdown.
And it is Richard Rodgers for the touchdown.
Rodgers comes from here and comes underneath and lets the traffic clear, and he puts it on his back hip and ends up making a nice catch.
Rodgers, of course, had that 61-yard game-winning Hail Mary reception at Ford Field the last meeting. What a monster game Rodgers had. An incredible moment, which I'll always remember in both cities.
So how many different guys is that now that they've thrown the ball to? And you see the Lions defense struggling in the red zone. 8 consecutive red zone drives, they've allowed touchdowns.
So 14:46 to play here in the second quarter. And Aaron Rodgers is doing what he's been doing for years, and especially when these two teams meet. Rodgers, a 7-2 record going head-to-head against Stafford. However, in their last 8 regular season games overall now, talked about how Stafford has been superb. 21 touchdowns against 2 interceptions. And Rodgers has been quite human.
It looks like the non-human side is coming back out of Aaron Rodgers today.
Yes, it is.
He did say this week, and you remember the great quote a few years ago when the Packers up to a 1-2 start, yep. R-E-L-A-X.
Yep.
Well, he doesn't want to use that anymore. It's become a punchline. He's not crazy about it. So what he said this week was, we're not going to overreact. We know what the process is. It's worked for us quite well throughout the years. We trust it, and we know what our flaws are, and we're working on fixing them. And it looks like today they've got better timing into their offense, and they're well on their way to fixing those flaws.
Again, Roberts going to bring it out of the end zone, and again, a terrible decision made by Andre Roberts. Well, he slams the ball to the turf. The only person he should be upset at is himself. That's 2 in a row. Small screen, stadium-sized content. Watch live and local Sunday games right on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. You know, you talked about that comment when they started 1-2 in the 2014 RELAX by Rodgers. The next 4 wins, next 4 games, he threw 13 touchdowns, and they won 11 of their final 13 games. Rodgers today already with 3 touchdowns, and we're barely a quarter plus into this one. The rookie Washington, and positive yardage on a run by Lion. Let's go downstairs to Peter Schrager.
Tom, we know that the Lions have been stung by injuries. No Ziggy Ansah, no DeAndre Levy. You can add Tavon Wilson, the starting safety. He hurt his neck. He walked off the field. He is questionable to return, but the injuries keep on coming for these Lions.
Well, you're not lying for both teams, really. I mean, you look at the Packer defense right now. Great stars, Morgan Burnett, Clay Matthews, Sam Shields again for a second straight week. LaTroy Guion. You're already without Mike Pennell. He's been suspended. And another carry for Washington, and back-to-back carries. He picks up a first down. Just under 14 minutes to go here in the second quarter. 21-3 Green Bay. We continue to show you the scoreboard for those of you just joining us. We don't have our Fox box available all of the time for you to tell you how much time there is here until halftime.
Feels old school. That works
right.
out perfectly with Green Bay and Detroit going at it.
That's right. Rivalry began back in 1930 at City Stadium in Green Bay. Today, the 174th meeting. Looking up top down the sideline. And the catch is made by Marvin Jones Jr. And that's a big hit inside the Packer 40-yard line.
So watch him right off the line of scrimmage with Demarius Randall, who struggled last week with Stephon Diggs of the Vikings. and he got him on just a little subtle move. Did you notice how Randall slowed down for one step, and that's all it took? And then Jones over the top, and Randall could not locate the football, and Stafford knew that. Put it up there and let Jones go make the play.
Well, we talked about Lawson having a rough week on one side. The same held true for Randall against Stephon Diggs last week. Diggs had 9 receptions, 182 yards. Randall also penalized twice in the game. Washington just slams himself into the defender, a gain of 2. That's Jake Ryan.
Without Clay Matthews and without LaTroy Guion, Dom Capers, D coordinators, just said we're going to be in nickel all the time. Now they're in nickel probably almost 80% of the time anyway, but today they're doing it. Just that's our base defense, because he used Julius Peppers as either a down lineman or a stand-up outside linebacker. He's kind of the wild card of that D.
Peppers not on the field in his first game. Stafford. That's a bullet. The ball is taken away. That is Demarius Randall, still on his feet and dropped to the 25-yard line. It looked like he just ripped it away from a tight end, Ebron.
And look at it. There's the catch. And he gets a double contact because he gets some help there from number 50, Blake Martinez, who kind of holds up Ebron, and Demarius Randall frisks it and takes it away and goes the other way. No player probably on the defense for Green Bay needed a big play bit more than Demarius Randall, right? You had just pointed out the issues he had with Stephon Diggs. He had the big pass over the top of him to Marvin Jones. You outlined it perfectly, Tom, and he comes back and gets a big takeaway that's got to do wonders for his confidence level. And there's Matthew Stafford, and you know, he was very physical last week. They don't want him involved in much of that. He was trying to just hold it up, but ended up at the end kind of falling on the top of him. But they'd like for him to be away from that pile. They don't need him getting hit.
That's a 44-yard return after ripping the football away by Randall. So now the Packers in business. 11:40 to play until halftime, and going for a 4th touchdown score. And off the shoulder pads of the tight end, Jared Cook. They're calling that an interception, by the way, a moment ago.
And on this play, Jared Cook down the middle. They brought him in to be a big play tight end, and that ball's right on him. And I'm not sure if Cook just lost it somewhere, because it got to his shoulder pads before he could get his hands up to make a play. And I know it's early in the game, and Cook is limping off right now. Hopefully he'll be okay. I don't know if you're seeing the same thing I am. I think you probably are. I think they're very conscious trying to get Cook involved in this game. Right? He's out to a slow start with a new team, and I feel like Mike McCarthy is dialing up things, saying, let's give Jared Cook some passes. Let's get him involved.
And he's more than a capable pass catcher. I mean, he's been, you know, from time to time tuned out and dropped some balls through the years with Tennessee, and then the last 5 years with the Rams, where he caught 30 or more passes every year there, but they turned him loose.
And Green Bay took him because of his ability to get downfield, stretch defenses, and help guys out wide. So if they can ever get him going on the inside part of the field, see, they're looking for their Jermichael Finley. Remember when they had him? What a great player he was.
He sure was. Injuries eventually catching up to him, much like Brandon Pettigrew, another excellent tight end for these Lions. Blitz coming. Rodgers slings it to the primary tight end. That would be Richard Rodgers. He's short of a first down.
But the arm angles that Aaron Rodgers gives you, still with accuracy. As you see on that play, Kerry Hyder bearing down on him. He knew that he had to have a different angle, drops it down and goes Kent Colby sidearm and sticks it on him right there.
Kent Colby.
How about that? He did all that, did it without the glasses and the patent leather shoes. Result pretty similar, right in the strike zone.
Kent still going strong doing the pregame and postgame show for his beloved Pirates. 3rd down, and they throw it up top. Incomplete. Jordy Nelson looking for a penalty flag. In coverage, it's Darius Slay in his 4th year out of Mississippi State.
All the way at the top, Nelson 87 in green, Slay 23 in white. And because Slay can't see the ball, Rogers puts it out there, but at the end, you notice how Slay turns his head, see that? And he makes a little play on the ball right at the end. That's a nice job by Darius Slay. Kind of reading the eyes of Jordy Nelson in the arms. When they come up, you go make a play on the ball.
36-yard field goal try by Crosby. He's hit 37 in a row from inside 40 here at Lambeau Field, and the beat goes on. Make it 38 in a row. He hasn't missed at Lambeau inside 40 since 2012.
Game on Fox is sponsored by Pizza Hut. Bring home the flavor, only at Pizza Hut. By Miller Lite, the original light beer. And by Chevrolet, more 2016 J.D. Power Dependability Awards than any other brand.
No tofu being served up here at Lambeau. Got bacon on that burger served up at 1919 Kitchen and Tap right here. Thanks to Josh Swanson and his staff for allowing our crew to get into the kitchen yesterday. 10:41 to play until halftime. And it's all Packers so far, 24-3. These franchises, 2 of the all-time greats, Favre and Barry Sanders. .10:41 to play until halftime. Green Bay in front 24-3. The Lions had an excellent game-opening drive offensively, but had to settle for 3 points. And a long way to go until halftime, and that's a 3rd nice run since getting a chance to touch the football by Dwayne Washington. 7th round pick this year out of the University of Washington. He came on after Abdullah was injured last week, had 4 rushes for 31 yards and a nice start, 4 carries, 20 yards today.
They love his body frame, a big, strong guy who knows he's a big, strong guy and runs like it. And they need that. Try to have a guy who can break some tackles downfield, move the pile a little bit, although he got great blocking on the first play.
Stafford all the way was looking to the left side at Golden Tate and completes a pass. Clock continues to run. We're down to the 10-minute mark until halftime.
And they're going to operate from the line of scrimmage there. It looked to me like Tate got some help from his friend Marvin Jones, number 11. Little combo deal there where he was able to kind of draw attention and inadvertently create a screen situation to help Marvin Jones get open. Excuse me, Golden Tate.
Tate has had a very quiet start to this season. His first 2 years, 90-plus receptions in each of them as a Lion since coming over from Seattle. Washington again off to the left side, wrapped up by the rookie Dean Lowry. So they got some youngsters playing a lot of football in this Packer defense, what with all the injuries. You have rookies Lowry, Clark, Martinez, Fackrell, and second-year players in the secondary of Randall, Rollins, Gunter.
They don't mind going with young guys. They don't mind going with undrafted guys. They believe that they coach so well and develop them that they turn them into players as well.
Go!
Second down and 9. Blitz coming. They pick it up. Stafford now forced out of the pocket and throws incomplete. Well, that's a dangerous throw. Blanket coverage on that far side by Josh Hawkins.
They're going to bring the pressure in here, but watch this big guy right here, Mike Daniels. Okay, so the pressure gets picked up, and Daniels is the guy who flushes and works against Taylor Decker. Mike Daniels did not get the notoriety of others, but boy, he makes plays. And watch this athletic play by Josh Hawkins. Over the top without contacting the receiver.
Daniels was so dominant in the first quarter last week against Minnesota. They had to double team him the rest of the way. Play clock down to 3. They get it off. Set up the wide receiver screen and a good play to Golden Tate. He was stood up and slammed to the deck by Kentrell Bryce, another rookie playing on defense for the injured Morgan Burnett.
It's a nice tackle at the end, but watch these guys come out here and watch the screening inside. Really well set up and executed by Detroit. Yeah, the tackle gets the attention at the end, but they got a first down on that play. Nice execution by the Lions.
Get the feeling the Lions really, really need a touchdown drive here.
Something to calm things down a little bit, give their defense a chance to exhale. They've been under siege the entire first half.
It's Tate in motion, and they'll put it in his hands, and that did not fool the Packers. Elliott in the backfield throws him to the deck.
Watch Jayrone Elliott. Watch how he plays this. Because he comes upfield, but he throttles down enough, and the block is supposed to come from the backside. Look like Michael Burton's supposed to be coming across the formation to pick him up, but he sees it before Burton can get there and changes his angle and goes right to the ball carrier. Well played by Jayrone Elliott.
And now Washington comes from the slot receiver position into the backfield behind Stafford. On a second down and forever, they'll hand it off to Washington. And a pretty good pickup to the 44. Let's check in back in Los Angeles.
Thank you very much, Arizona at Buffalo. Bills fired their offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, after week 2. LaShawn McCoy, 5-yard touchdown run, his second of the day. Bills up 17-0.
Well, that's a hard Arizona team to figure now. I mean, opening weekend, they get beat by New England, and the Patriots missing all those pieces. We saw them last week just throttle Tampa Bay. And now going on the road and getting hammered in the first half, at least in the first half, by Buffalo.
The good thing is with their offense, they're never out of anything.
Need to get to the 33 for a first down, and that they will do. Ebron again down the middle of the field. That's been a nice weapon today for Stafford and the Lions.
Help me out, partner. Is this a tight end or is this a wide receiver? Watch this route. Look at that. Look at that bend to the outside, and Micah Hyde thinks he's throttling down, shakes him outside, and then sticks back inside for another nice connection. Well-run route by Eric Ebron, continuing to develop as a pro.
4 receptions, 48 yards. Ebron to the sideline. And the handoff is to Riddick. You know, look, these guys who work in the league as coaches, Charles, they've forgotten more football than I'll ever know. But, you know, you just wonder on this drive. Now, they made up for it with that third down and long conversion, but you're starting to run the ball well for the first time with Washington on this drive and a little bit in the last drive. You try the trick play, handing it off to Tate, you lose 8. And now on first down, you go back to Riddick, who's a capable back. But Washington's got a little something moving here.
Sometimes you think to yourself, you always hear coach say, go with the hot hand. Right now, Washington seems to have it. You want to press it a little bit more.
No doubt about that. Looking to the end zone. And it should have been intercepted by Gunter. He was in coverage down there in the corner of the end zone.
He's locked up all the way on the outside, playing press man, working with him, got him at the hips. Yeah, he turns his head and sees the receiver. Look at that. Turns and sees and has the ball in his mitts and can't envelop it.
We have a hard time making 11, converting third and double digits. This is a 3rd and 11. Incomplete. Looking for Anquan Bolden down around the 15-yard line. And out comes Prater for a field goal try.
Your eyes go to the action downfield, but your eyes need to stay in here. Watch where the pressure comes from. Daniels 76, Peppers 56. Just collapse the pocket back in on Matthew Stafford. He can't even step forward and get anything on that pass.
This will be a 43-yard field goal try by Prater. Man, does this guy have a leg. And he missed it. Plenty of leg, but just shaved it to the wrong side of the right upright.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Genesis. Take a breath of fresh luxury.
5:03 to play until halftime. The Packers leading after the missed Prater field goal. Look at the work offensively so far today by Green Bay. Touchdown, 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 field goal. Scoring on each of its first 4 possessions. And now a 5th.
19.
Completion made, and that'll be for 2 yards. And let's check in downstairs with Peter Schrader.
Hey, Tom, few injuries on the Packers side of the ball. Jared Cook walked off with an ankle injury. He's questionable to return. Demarius Randall just walked off to the locker room as well. But how about this one? Blake Martinez, the inside linebacker, had stitches on his nose. They bursted open. He rushed back to the locker room. They're going to re-stitch that nose up. He's going to return to play.
Only thing missing from that shot is being able to see his breath on the frozen tundra.
He just went ahead and emulated Ray Nitschke, didn't he?
He sure did.
Now, Martinez did that in preseason, and now he's going to have to deal with it throughout the year.
Blood McNally, you were talking about that yesterday.
Johnny Blood.
High throw for Lacy.
So we had a penalty on that first play, and this is what Detroit needed in a big way. A stop here. And now you're coming back. You got, two plays for Green Bay. Didn't give much yards. One of them is nullified by a penalty anyway. So you got 2nd and long. Terrell Austin, the defensive coordinator for Detroit, dial up to try and get them off the field and not give up any more points, because this whole first half is going to track meet for Green Bay.
19.
Lacy, big hole. A first down and then some for the big fella. And like a battering ram, and some extra pushing and shoving there. This still no penalty flag thrown yet.
And
looked like there should have been.
2nd and long, and watch all the blocking here. Look at the fullback lead. He folds around, and then Lacy runs away from number 31, Raphael Bush, before Slade ends up taking him out of bounds. That's 2nd and long. You got the advantage on defense. They let him out. Remember DeMarco Murray, Tennessee last week? They punted him deep in the territory. First play, he bolts out for a 66-yard gain. You can't let him out when you have the advantage.
It's a 25-yard run by Lacy, his 2nd longest carry of the season. And a more standard 3-yard gain on a first down to the 35. The clock now down to 3:50 until halftime.
That's just demoralizing, Tom. I mean, last week Jim Caldwell caught some heat about you punt it or not in that situation. He punts and gives defense a great spot. First play, he bolts for 66 yards, does DeMarco Murray. 2nd and long here, great spot. They bolted big again, right up the middle.
Rodgers to throw it on 2nd down. Catch made by Nelson. That's a nice tackle made by Slay. Although it'll move the chains inside the 30 to the 26.
Now they got
25.
Now go up the tempo a little bit too and go a little quicker. Aaron Rodgers is really in sync today with his receivers. Very sharp with the football. The Aaron Rodgers we're used to seeing.
Here's Nelson. And he's to the 20. That'll be a gain of 5 on first down.
No, that was a called running play. That's that run pass option, that RPO people like to talk about. Called running play. Everything was moving to the left with momentum, and he just gave it out to Jordy Nelson in a one-on-one, hoping he could break the tackle and create and win. Nice tackle out in the perimeter.
Second and 5, Lacy again. Looking for running room. A flag thrown behind the line of scrimmage, and the pile continues to push Lacy all the way to the 15.
Holding. Number 73 offense. 10-yard penalty.
That's
2nd down.
Treader, the center. Let's check in back in Los Angeles with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Washington at New York. Giants looking to stay 3-0. This helps. Orleans Darkwa, 2-yard touchdown run, caps off 8-play, 75-yard drive. Giants up 21-9. Tom, Charles, and Peter.
What do you think about the Giants so far, Charles Davis?
Like what I'm seeing from them. Remember, they won the first 2 games without the offense really getting in gear. And if that happens, look out, because the defensive moves that they made in the offseason, they're paying big dividends for them.
Clock takes us down to the 2-minute warning. The Giants off to a 2-0 start for the first time since 2009. Here the Pack rolling. Now some big stars on both sides sitting it out here today. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Packers with the football. 2nd down and 15 at the Detroit 30. 2 minutes to go until halftime, and Rodgers out of the shotgun. Crossing pattern by Jordy Nelson, and gets a huge chunk of it back. Got 12 of the 15 on a first down catch. Of course, Nelson returning from an ACL injury a season ago. 31-year-old Kansas native, when healthy, among the very best in the NFL. 3 straight seasons of over 1,200 or more receiving yards before the injury.
Haven't hit Randall Cobb in a while. These one guy's got big. He's been a little quiet in the first half.
Blitz coming. Packers pick it up. And Nelson to the end zone, and that is a touchdown, the 4th of the game, thrown by Aaron Rodgers.
Watch Cobb. He's going to put a hand up first, almost as if to say, look at me. And he ended up doing it. He did that right before we got it, obviously. But then that created some attention for him inside. And then what a route by Jordy Nelson outside over the top of Slay. And he can't throw it any better than that. So if you're worried about Jordy Nelson rounding into shape with his knee, I think that those fears are getting less and less with each connection. And Aaron Rodgers, by the way, still pretty darn good.
31 points here in the opening half. The Packers had scored a total of 41 combined in their first 2 games. Aaron Rodgers has been down this road before. His 2nd career game with 4 touchdown passes in an opening half did it to the Bears. Boy, he's been slaughtering them for a long, long time. When you think about Rodgers and all the talk coming in the Packers, you know, they said, hey, look, we're not worried about it. But the first 2 games, Aaron Rodgers had thrown a total of 3 touchdown passes in 70 attempts. 4 of them in 17 attempts today. All right, coming up at halftime. How about it, Kurt Menefee?
Coming up on the Visa halftime, the Broncos look to stay perfect against the Bengals, as do the Ravens in Jacksonville. And good news, either the Browns or Dolphins will get their first win of the season.
Kurt, unless they tie.
Why do you have to do that? We'll see you at halftime. You ruin all the good times for everybody.
And he used to coach a Miami Dolphin.
Just tell him it like it is. Coach Johnson.
First down, minute 10 to go until halftime. Stafford just dumps it off out of the backfield to Riddick, who slips a couple of tackles. Tripped up to the 28-yard line. Clock continues to roll. We're under a minute. Detroit has 3 timeouts remaining.
Since the first drive of the game, not much has come easy for Detroit on offense. They've hit some nice plays. Ebron's had some nice catches, had the big pass to Marvin Jones. But all in all, it's been a slog for them.
Oh, boy. And Marvin Jones is off to the races. He will score a touchdown in the final 30 seconds of this opening half.
And so much for the slog. And Demarius Randall, I believe, again, matched up on the outside. No, take that back. It's number 20, Josh Hawkins, who just come back in another stumble. And then he kind of hesitates on the catch by Jones, almost as if he thought Jones was going to be out of bounds. So he stumbles, loses contact with him. Then he thinks the play's kind of dead, so he slows down a little, and then Jones takes it to the house. So they broke that slog with a big sprint there. Nice connection, Stafford to Marvin Jones.
That's a 73-yard touchdown pass, and the first career touchdown as a Lion for Marvin Jones Jr., who had a 8-catch, 118-yard game against Tennessee. Lions will get the ball to begin the second half, remember. And that point after makes it a 3-touchdown game. But first things first, if you're the Lions at halftime, you got to figure out somehow, some way to slow down Aaron Rodgers.
Well, you start with maybe he won't play in the second half, because that's about all you got going right now. He's done everything. But I think the thing that's impressed me the most about him in the first half is, you remember Aaron Rodgers, you see him out of the pocket here? That used to be the accessory to their offense. The West Coast offense is a timing offense. 1, 2, 3 in rhythm, the whole deal. And then he would break out and make big plays. But in recent games, and I think throughout last year, there's a lot more of that accessory becoming primary, where Aaron Rodgers was making plays, moving around, dancing, and they lost some timing along the way, I believe. In this game, he's brought the timing back. Balls out of his hands quickly to receivers. They've made plays downfield. And then when he's needed to, he's broken out in extended plays, often to good use.
I mean, last week alone, he was sacked 5 times. He fumbled 3 times. He lost 1 of them.
He almost felt like he was extending plays, Tom, for the, they play open, but I can get a bigger one.
That's right.
Now today, he said, okay, I'll take what's open early, and then I'll get the bigger ones later. He created one of those with Trevor Davis. Remember the long pass interference where he created it.
And out to the 25. The most outspoken duo in sports talk is now on FS1.
Tomorrow, we debate today's NFL action, including Lions-Packers.
Will you find another way to criticize Aaron Rodgers?
Somebody's got to be objective. Undisputed, 9:30 Eastern, FS1.
Well, you'd be hard-pressed to find any fault with Aaron Rodgers here today. We talked about it earlier. You go back to last year, the Packers were rolling, man. I mean, they were 6-0. Then they go to Denver. And Rodgers has the worst game of his career. And starting from that point on, the passing yards were down, the touchdowns were down, the yards per pass attempt way down, the wins were down. Rodgers just going to throw the long ball again on first down into double coverage, and it's incomplete. So, look, we're not used to seeing the Green Bay Packers offense ranked 23rd in the NFL, which is where it finished last year. And coming into this game, granted only 2 games, small sample size, but 29th in the NFL.
When I looked at it the first time, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was a typo. It just doesn't even feel right.
No.
But here in the first half, they've gotten back to being more of that. And I think Mike McCarthy, as a play caller, is making some notes and changing some of the things he's doing. Running the ball a little bit more with Lacy, I think, has helped his offense in the first half.
That's the first sack for either team in the game today. And it's Kerry Hyder, undrafted free agent, originally in New York, signed to the Detroit practice squad, played in 1 game last year. He has 4 sacks this year. For the story, Rodgers in the pack. A 31-10 lead. We go to Kurt Menefee and the gang in Los Angeles. Time now for the Visa halftime, which begins now. Today's excitement brought to you by the new Nissan Titan and the new look Green Bay Packer offense here in the first half.
And they're loving it because Aaron Rodgers back in form, and this offense is purring. Look at the touchdown passes, and look at the variety of the people who caught them. He spread it around and spread it well.
That was today's excitement, brought to you by the new Nissan Titan. Alongside Charles Davis, Peter Schrager, and our entire crew, Tom Brenneman back at Lambeau Field, the home opener today for the Green Bay Packers. And, a lot of their fans, Charles, were wondering, is this offense going to be something we're so used to seeing since Aaron Rodgers became the starter in 2008? And the answer is so far, yes, it has been.
All Aaron Rodgers kept saying, Mike McCarthy, the head coach, let's not overreact. We've been in this spot before. I think, 3 out of the last 4 seasons, they've started the season 1-2 and gone to the playoffs and won division titles. Aaron Rodgers said, don't overreact. We know what the flaws are. We're working to correct them. Well, I thought the flaws were mainly they were getting Aaron Rodgers out of the pocket so much as opposed to the timing stuff. They got back to their West Coast roots in the first half.
They take a look at the first half. Rodgers, the 4 touchdowns. He had 3 in the first 2 games combined. Jordy Nelson, already 100 yards receiving and a pair of touchdowns in the game. And Marvin Jones Jr., his first touchdown as a Lion, and back-to-back 100-yard receiving games. But, you know, you get the feeling, granted we have an entire half to go here, Charles Davis, but if there's ever a time the Lions need a touchdown, and you always want a touchdown, but when you're down 31-10 right now is when you need to get it.
And that would allow them to stack touchdowns back-to-back. The big play by Marvin Jones right before the half made it 31-10. They go down and get a touchdown here. They're back into this game.
Ground ball, if you will, to Dwayne Washington. The rookie is sent back there to return kicks here in the second half, and he's up to the 24-yard line. Let's check in downstairs with Peter Schrager.
Hey, Tom, I asked Jim Caldwell, when Aaron Rodgers is dialed in like this, what do you tell your team? He said, we got to mix it up. We got to do some different things on defense. We say, hey, we scored at the end of the half. We get the ball now. We can do this. And as far as Mike McCarthy, he was concerned about the injuries. You know, they're without now Demarius Randall, also Jared Cook, and then Aaron Ripkowski, the fullback, he's questionable as well.
Wow, the injuries just pile up. Both of these teams are dealing with them. Ripkowski doesn't sound like much, but if you want to run the football, get Eddie Lacy some I formation runs, Ripkowski's your lead fullback. He's no longer there. So a number of injuries hurting both teams.
All right, so here we go. Stafford, first down throw, wide open again. It is Marvin Jones, and that was a tackle away by Micah Hyde from being another lengthy touchdown to Marvin Jones Jr.
Well-conceived route, because watch Anquan Boldin. He goes in here and draws people with him. And you see how the corner goes to Anquan Boldin and doesn't sink deep on Marvin Jones. And Jones is right on the sideline. That's a well-thrown football by Matthew Stafford.
Well, they start in a hurry-up mode, do the Lions, in this second stanza, trailing by 3 touchdowns. Hand off to Theo Riddick, and that is by far his best run of the day. He had 5 rushing attempts for -10 yards the first 5 times he touched it.
And when he gets a little bit of space, he has a great ability to make people miss. Remember, he came out of Notre Dame as a combo running back wide receiver. Played both while he was in school there. They made him a full-time runner here in the NFL. But his forte still is catching passes, getting into the open field, and making people miss to create big gains.
And speaking of forte, only Matt has more receptions as a running back than does Riddick over the last 3 years in the NFL. Very close to a first down. Needed to get to the 44. Looked like, well, on that spot, inches short it looks like.
And you don't see the move for Dwayne Washington to come into the game. Riddick stays in the ball game as the lone runner.
Well, you wonder if Stafford just take it here. Well, looks like he's backing up in a shotgun on 3rd and a foot. They get the first down.
And they ran it over their power side, if you would say that. I think they've got a very powerful offensive line, at least the makings of one. But you get over here with Larry Warford, 75, Riley Reed, number 71. And Warford is just a road grader at guard. When he is fully healthy, he's one of the best guards in the league.
Well, I mean, this offensive line now, you have 3 first-round picks and 2 third-round picks. You know, Tomlinson has been off to the slow start so far this season, but they're very pleased with Decker, the rookie tackle out of Ohio State. There's a completion. And the first catch today for Boldin, and that's inside the 35 to the 33-yard line for Anquan Boldin. One of the great pros of all time.
I love the word you just used, pros. I mean, this is a guy who's going to come out and put the work in each and every day, put in extra. They talked about him coming to his new team and taking mental reps on every snap. He wasn't in. He essayed what they were doing on that play in order to learn the offense quicker.
What a career it has been for Anquan Boldin, his 14th season out of Florida State. Riddick met behind the line of scrimmage, bounces off a tackle, a real nice cutback, and picks up first down yardage inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line.
I think Nick Barnett thought that when he hit him, that would just take him down. Watch Barnett. You got to bring arms and wrap up. Excuse me, Nick Perry. My apologies. I said Barnett. It was Nick Perry.
Well, he was a great Packer, too.
Yes.
The injured Lion is Ebron. So we'll take a timeout as they take a look at him.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Dodge. And by Corona Extra, who invites you to find your beach.
Ah, yes, Friday night, the Notre Dame Academy, the defending state champions in Wisconsin Division III, beating up on our man, Jesse Levy's Manitowoc team. The Lincoln High School Ships of Manitowoc, 42-13. Jesse Levy, part of our really Green Bay-led crew. They travel with us every single week. Guys who do an incredible job in this area, and his mom and dad, Dan and Mary Levy, watching the game today. A couple of others on our crew as well. Dan Quinn sends out hello to his mom, Millie Quinn. Grandma's watching too, right? Attaboy, Danny. And then right up here in the booth with us every week, Andy Stieber, Maribel, and Regina. His entire family tiled in today. Been with those guys for a long, long time. Jesse, Danny, and Andy. And it's an honor and a pleasure to work with them every week. And down inside the 10 to the 5-yard line goes Golden Tate.
Lions have a very nice drive going here. They came out of the half, no real panic, even though down 31-10. Putting together a nice combination of plays. Offensive line has gotten involved, creating some holes. Getting it out into the flat, put them into great field position now. Matthew Stafford delivering outside.
Might play the drive to begin this second half. Both Riddick and Washington in the backfield for the first time together in this one. And they isolate Riddick. Cuts it back to the inside, very close to the goal line. And apparently stopped just short. Boy, does he have great cutback ability, this Theo Riddick.
This would be Riddick, 25, coming out here to the flat. But as you noted, Tom, watch the cutback after the catch. Look at that, everybody flies by, and he powers forward before Jake Ryan finishes off the play. It should be done right there, but he makes Micah Hyde miss on the cutback inside and almost gets into the end zone.
Now Riddick, the lone man in the backfield. Second down and goal from inside the 1. Still waiting for that play to work.
You didn't see Stanford pull it off last night? Get that done against UCLA?
Oh, that's right.
That's the one.
That's the one that worked the entire weekend.
They've been for the bit. But how about that throw? Because normally we've gotten so much on that back shoulder. But Matthew Stafford snuck it in on the front side, low and underneath the arms. It wasn't over the top, not your normal fade, and he almost got it home.
Right now they're out of the I formation, and they're going to hand it off to Washington, and he can't get there. Well, you're down 31-10. It's 4th down and goal. We'll see where they spot it. And it looks like Jim Caldwell has already decided that he's going to go for it.
Yeah, and what he had in there was a heavy set before, but look who was in the middle of the pile stacking it up. Remember talking about Mike Daniels in the first half? He's creating a lot of havoc inside, and now he's going back with his regular offense. Wants to spread things out a little bit.
That's Golden Tate in motion. Riddick in the backfield. Jones and Bolden off to the right. Play clock down to 3. They roll Stafford, and that is a touchdown. That's a beautifully designed play. A touchdown to Anquan Bolden. The 76th career touchdown for the 14-year former Seminole.
Really well designed. He's coming here. Jones going to work inside on this one. Look at that. He works inside, Bolden outside. But you got to give credit to Theo Riddick in the backfield. He did a nice job chipping off the end to get his hands out of the play so Matthew Stafford could complete the pass on the edge.
Bolden now ties Harold Jackson and Fred Biletnikoff. How about those two names?
Those are great
29th most career touchdown receptions. He already has over 1,000 of those. Point after is good, and so we said the Lions needed one. Well, on 4th down and goal, they get it, and they're back in this game, 31-17. Well, here's an interesting note. With that touchdown pass, Stafford now passes Fran Tarkenton for the most touchdown passes by a visiting quarterback all time in this hallowed venue of Lambeau Field.
Now that's impressive. You talk about Francis Asbury Tarkenton, a Hall of Famer.
Packers will get the football for the first time in the second half after the Lions are able to score to start it.
Today's game is sponsored by Verizon. Welcome to Verizon LTE Advanced, the next-gen network.
Well, how cool is that shot right there? Taking a look from the goalpost up into the newest edition of Lambeau Field in the last couple of years. So Rodgers 4 touchdown passes in the first half. Eddie Lacy carrying for the 7th time in the game, and they continue to push him forward. And that might end up being a gain of around 7 yards when all is said and done, and that's exactly what Lacy is averaging per carry here today.
This is an example of an offensive line that wants to clean people off of their ball carrier. Watch Lacy. So you think it's done about there, but look at the offensive line. Continue to work, continue to push, trying to clean tacklers off of their ball carrier. And as long as progress is being made, there's no whistle being blown.
Big old Brian Bulaga pushing in from the backside there. 320 pounds of that right tackle. Now they pitch it to Lacy. He has a first down up to the 38-yard line, and we go back to Los Angeles to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Keeping an eye on the NFC North here, Minnesota at Carolina. Kyle Rudolph, 15-yard touchdown catch from Sam Bradford. They went for 2 and got it. Vikings up 16-10 on the road. Tom tells Peter.
That's a pretty throw, wasn't it?
And that's a big target.
Big target there, Rudolph. Pretty throw by Bradford.
Lacy, a 3rd straight carry. Shot down on the far side by Glover Quinn, but not before another significant pickup by Eddie Lacy. We'll call it 8 yards.
And this offensive line is getting in sync here. And this is a big drive for Green Bay because the last 2 scores have been touchdowns by the Lions and have tightened this game up. And there's a little sense of urgency coming from Green Bay. Nice tackle by Quinn, but he's deep into the secondary at that point. And notice Eddie Lacy stays on the field. His conditioning in the offseason paying off.
4 straight carry for Lacy. And this one another first down, and he's to the Detroit 45-yard line. Lacy had a total of 12 touches for all of 50 yards in the loss to Minnesota.
And look at everyone in sync and moving. Bakhtiari 69, moving people. Shredder 73, and look at the eyes of Lacy. Finding the holes. The eyes take his feet into the secondary, and he stays on the field again. Tom, I'm getting into that P90X myself now.
4 straight carries for 30 yards, and now they go to Justin Perillo, 3rd string tight end on the depth chart. And he has his first catch of this season. It's a first down to the 32.
So that's how they're able to give Eddie Lacy a little bit of rest, let him be the decoy on that one. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Is that a grin of a guy who's locked in today and feels good about what's going on? And don't be surprised they come right back and give Lacy another touch now. They gave him a play off after 4 straight. Give it to him again. That P90X I was talking about, they said he used it in the offseason. I got to get some of that.
Well, you'll get it for free because you just mentioned it a moment ago. Trying to break it to the outside is Lacy, and no running room this time. Devin Lawson initially slows him down, and a little help from the backside as well.
Yeah, Xavier Gooden, who they just activated, brought him up from the practice squad, number 47, because they've been dinged up at the linebacker position. He's had to go out there and play. But you were right, Tom. Devin Lawson, number 24, the corner, forced it first. Really well done. Now the big fella gets a little bit of a break, and James Starks comes in.
Starks had a really nice season last year, very versatile out of the Green Bay backfield. Set a career high with over 600 rushing yards, caught 43 passes. They like to throw it to him when they have to, and they might have to here. Nope, just going to throw it away. Third down coming up. Rodgers has been sacked just one time here today. He was sacked 6 times in the first 2 games combined. They play on a 3rd down and 10. And again, Rodgers eludes trouble. He'll get a first down and then some, as he will step out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. First down, Green Bay.
And nothing demoralizes a defense more than have quarterback hot-footing it on 3rd down, picking up with others a flag on this play.
Yeah, it's about 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding, number 75 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
It's Bulaga, the right tackle.
It's Bulaga here. Right there, he gets the hook. You see the hook as they go to the ground. He had the hook there. I think that was Kerry Hyder, number 61, who put the pressure on him, and that's going to negate the first down pickup by Aaron Rodgers. There's the takedown behind Rodgers. But look at the open space and the great wheels of Rodgers that he's put to fine use over the years.
And wipes out a 19-yard gain and a first down inside the 15-yard line. Instead, it's backed up to the 42. And it's 3rd down and 20. And the Lions come up with a stop here and force a punt. Things could get quite interesting. Rodgers all day to throw. And he's going to run it again. Well into field goal range to the 28-yard line. So this would bring up about a 46-yard field goal try for Crosby.
Look at the protection again with Aaron Rodgers. Credit has to go to this coverage downfield, because he had plenty of protection and time to throw the ball. Look at that. That's clean for him, but nowhere to go with it. So the coverage downfield has to be excellent for the Lions, and a good smart play by Aaron Rodgers, as you noted, Tom, running for enough yardage to set up the field goal attempt.
So it'll be from 46 yards away for Mason Crosby. Good snap, good hold, and it is right down the middle. So the Packers come away with points and lead 34-17. Well, the Packers have scored on 6 of their 7 possessions, and bear in mind, the only one they didn't score on, there was less than a minute to play in the opening half, and they only ran 2 plays before the half came to an end. Andre Roberts waits back, and he'll take this line drive kick, and he's going to bring it out for a 3rd time in this game, and for the 3rd time he does not even reach the 20. Wow. You like defense? 2 of the all-time greats at their positions, Lem Barney and the great Ray Nitschke. Lions in the pack. Well, Joe Marciano has to be wondering, what in the world are we seeing back here?
The only explanation I could have, Tom, possibly, is that they've ordered their guys to bring them out and be aggressive. It's the only thing I have, because it doesn't make sense to do it otherwise. I don't see what he's thinking. Otherwise, to go that deep.
Down the middle of the field, it's Ebron again, and that's a first down up to the 40-yard line. 21-yard gain on a first down reception. It's been a big afternoon for Ebron. 5 catches now for 69 yards.
But he's going off the field right now. He has to come out. And typically after you catch a pass and you're part of the hot hand, you typically stay in. So he's going to need to get looked at by the trainer, I'm sure.
So Cole Witt, the rookie tight end, will check in. And where's number 89?
Hey.
2:25 to play in the 3rd quarter. And Washington is stood up at the 40-yard line. Picked up maybe a yard.
well defended. It's a pistol formation, which gives you the ability to run the ball like it's I formation. You're back to get it deep in the backfield. But the Packers held the edge well. And when you have defensive backs who are willing to get involved and tackle on the line of scrimmage, that increases the run defense, the great run defense we've seen from Green Bay here in the early season.
So 2nd down and 9. And there is Wick, who checked in for Ebron a moment ago from the University of the Incarnate Word. That is in San Antonio, Texas. He's from Hallettsville, Texas.
And that's an easy throw for Matthew Stafford. He sees it the whole way. And right now, the tight ends, when they go into the middle of Green Bay's defense, they're finding easy open spots and space to catch the ball and gain yardage after it.
First down, and Washington, a nice pickup to the 41. Tomorrow morning, we invite you to tune in for Skip and Shannon. They'll break all the weekend's action in the NFL down for you, undisputed, with Skip and Shannon is weekdays at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Pacific, only on FS1.
You mentioned the University of Incarnate Word in San Antonio. Frank Selpa, longtime coach in the NFL. His son Jordan was a quarterback there. And you know who was a part-time coach at one point? Ricky Williams.
Wow, how about that? Out of the backfield, this is Washington. And that is an excellent tackle made by Jake Ryan. 3rd down upcoming, and we send it back to LA to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, some great game in New York. Early 3rd, Redskins down 21-16. Kirk Cousins short pass to Jamison Crowder. He does the rest of the work. Redskins up 23-21 in this one. Tom, Charles, and Peter.
Wow, how about that?
When's the last time we saw them in the burgundy pants, too? Remember they switched back to the gold?
Well, the Lions are unable to get off one more play before the end of the 3rd quarter. They're on the move. Trailing 34-17, back after a word from your local Fox station. Well, we're on our way to the 4th quarter. 34-17 Green Bay, and a belt-out, roll-out the barrel here in Lambeau Field at the end of the 3rd quarter. That barrel has been Aaron Rodgers and his Packer offense. It's been rolling all day. 3rd down for Stafford. Beautiful throw, and a catch made by Marvin Jones to move the chains inside the 30.
There's just times when I watch him throw the football, and I'm just almost awestruck. It's just pretty coming off his hands. Nice route by Marvin Jones, and on the break, that ball's on its way. And look at it, just sticks it right there. His arm talent, you know, one of those buzzwords, phrases people like to use. His arm talent is good as anyone in the league.
300-yard passing day now for Stafford after that completion, 301 yards. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And really, I mean, it had to be ruled an interception, but it was a completed pass to Ebron, who just had the ball ripped out of his arm. And now looking for Riddick down the sideline, incomplete.
Well, they're trying to find a matchup in an isolation for Riddick. But what ends up happening is they take him all the way wide, and they end up having a corner covering. So the matchup that you're looking for is having to bounce a linebacker out there and deal with him in space. You make a linebacker a corner in space, they're not as good. It's just kind of an easy rule of thumb. But corner versus running back, corner likes his odds in that matchup.
That's Ebron again, and a career-high 6th reception for Eric Ebron. There is a penalty flag back behind the line of scrimmage.
Number 68 offense, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's a number 1 pick out of Ohio State, Taylor Decker.
So here's Decker right in here, the 1st-round pick out of Ohio State, who all in all, and look at this, really, wow, that's a tough one for him. I'm going to tell you why. Because Nick Perry was going to the ground essentially on his own. You know, and you saw Decker, he kind of had a little bit and he let go.
Right.
So that's a tough one for him. I mean, when they look back in film, I don't think that they're going to give him a big ding for that. You know, Perry was the beneficiary of that call, I believe.
Stafford back to the air. And does anybody know that Marvin Jones is playing for the Detroit Lions? Because every time we look up, he's wide open.
You know what you're seeing today too, Tom? The effects of Morgan Burnett not being on the field for Green Bay, who's their quarterback on defense, and another move by Demarius Randall, who drove up on a pass short and didn't protect deep first. You see 23, you saw that? See him move forward, and that ball ends up going over his head, and a nice throw again by Matthew Stafford.
Jones has 5 catches for 170 yards in this game, including that 73-yard touchdown. 3rd down and less than a yard. Early movement.
And the finger pointing begins.
Yes, it does.
False start. Number 72, offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, that's a left guard, Laken Tomlinson, and he's really had a rough start to this year. Had a holding penalty last week, nullified a touchdown. 2nd-year starter out of Duke.
See the pass distribution there, the wide receivers getting the bulk of it, but Ebron having a big day at tight end. Cole Witt caught one of those. And the running backs, mainly Theo Riddick.
Third down and a yard becomes 3rd down and 6. This is 4-down territory. And sacked is Stafford. Back at the 32-yard line by Nick Perry. Now maybe you're going to go ahead and kick the field goal to make it a 2-touchdown game after that sack. And they are.
And you really don't have any choice there because of the loss of yardage. And he beats the rookie Taylor Decker. And look at Perry at the end of the play. Not only does he go for the sack, he was trying to get the strip. So Matthew Stafford had to work hard to tuck the ball away and give them a chance to kick this field goal.
I mean, you're down by 17. You're going to need to kick a field goal sooner or later anyway. And so here's Prater, who's hit one and missed one. And this one is drilled. All right, 2-touchdown game. Nearly a full quarter left from Lambeau Field.
Today's game is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Burger King, introducing the new Cheetos Chicken Fries, only at Burger King.
Packer Hall of Fame Charles Davis, you were mesmerized by that place. Your first trip in here to Lambeau.
First trip, and they've done a fantastic job. Look at the uniforms through the years. And I think you saw in the beginning Reggie White down in his stance. My college teammate, my friend. I know the Packer fans miss him. The league misses him. I miss him terribly. We lost him way too early. But
no
boy,
doubt.
what a force of nature he was as a person and obviously as a player. But for me, it's much more as a person. The big dog.
Oh boy,
Boy, I miss him.
And I mean off the field.
That's exactly right. He was something else.
Ty Montgomery will cross the 25 and bring it up to the 29-yard line. Aaron Rodgers today has 13 completions in the entire game. 4 of them for touchdowns. Can the Lions come up with a stop in the 4th? NFL Play 60, the NFL's movement for a more active generation, encouraging fans to get moving. Play for 60 minutes every day. Learn how you can join the NFL Play 60 movement at NFL.com/Play60. All right, here we go. 12:27 to play. And Eddie Lacy on a first down carry spins out of a tackle and manages to pick up close to 5. Let's send it back to L.A. and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Bills' defense has kept Arizona in check all day, and then they get help on special teams. Bad snap on a field goal attempt. Aaron Williams scoops it up, takes it 53 yards for his first NFL touchdown. And right now it's 30-13. Bills in control in the 3rd. Tom, Charles, and Peter.
Well, you know, Kurt, if you remember, Charles, we saw Arizona last week. There were a couple of bad snaps. They've gone with a rookie as a long snapper this year. And remember, they had a chance to win week 1. as Eddie Lacy has the first down up across the 45. This is an Arizona team thinking about contending for a Super Bowl. They had the bad snap at the end of the game when they had a chance to beat New England in week 1.
Exactly. And watch Lacy, because you're going to see the cutback. See the vision? See that? They block it well, and they block it so well. They push everything to their left, and he cut back against the grain. Well designed on the blocking scheme and executed. But you're so right about, Arizona, Tom. A team that contends for the Super Bowl cannot be sitting there worried about whether a snap's going to be completed. So, unfortunately for that young man, come Monday, there will be people in Arizona long snapping to see if they find someone else or if they decide to keep him. Now, you feel horrible for him, but they're not going to go any farther than this. You can bet on that. Watch the transactions Monday. There will be people in town checking it out.
That was a miracle finish last year. Green Bay's season came to an end in that just extraordinary game in the divisional round in Arizona. Aaron Rodgers throwing another Hail Mary to tie it up. And I tell you, Green Bay wasn't helped by the officiating in that one. There was certainly a number of calls that Mike McCarthy, I would bet even now, is still stewing about.
And they were planning to go for 2 after that one, but Jeff Janis got hurt, and they didn't have enough receivers for the 2-point call. But remember, they call that play. What they call that play? The rebound pass. That's what they call it.
That's right.
And we call it the Hail Mary.
Rodgers gets out of trouble, and he's going to run it. Tries to stick that ball forward to pick up as much as he possibly can. He's up to the 48. It'll bring up a 3rd down.
And if Haloti Ngata is chasing you, which I believe is right here, you're going to get even more nimble, because that is a whole lot of man bearing down on you.
Have you ever had to try to run away from a train?
I mean, look at this, and it's downhill now.
Yeah.
Haloti may not run quite as well as he used to, but it's still enough to make you quicken your step over the sideline so you don't take a shot from big old number 92.
4-time Pro Bowler during his days with the Baltimore Ravens. Rodgers on 3rd down, and it is incomplete. So the Lions finally come up with a stop. And it's the first time all day today where the clock did not expire to end a half as it was in the first half, that the Lions have stopped Green Bay from scoring.
And Quandre Diggs, number 28, an excellent job of fighting all the way to the finish with Randall Cobb. That ball was put in a really nice spot, but Diggs hanging in there. Remember, Aaron Rodgers stared down the rush. They came right up in the gut, impacted him. He put a nice ball out there for Cobb, but Quandre Diggs, give him big credit for knocking that one away.
Returnable punt here for Andre Roberts, and not much of a return. He is dropped immediately by Elliott at the 12-yard line.
Today's game is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV.
Well, Detroit so far in this half possessing the football and coming up defensively with finally a stop of Rodgers and the Packers. And they start this drive from their own 12. They're down by 2 touchdowns. Catch made by Bolden, and that's up to the 20-yard line. That'll be a gain of 7 on 1st down. And closing in on 9-12, 9-11 to go. And the Lions need to pick up the pace a little bit here. To Washington, and he picks up the 1st down up to the 25-yard line. Marvin Jones had his first 100-yard receiving game since 2013, then with the Bengals last week, and closing in on 200 here today, career high 170. And Stafford will be sacked. Wrapped up by Kyler Fackrell. his first NFL sack, the rookie out of Utah State.
Watch how nifty he is getting back there. Okay, because now there's Decker, Taylor Decker, the rookie, and he got him late. Did you notice how Decker, he took such a deep step into the backfield that he actually took him halfway to the quarterback. And then he was a little off balance, and Fackrell that leverage and got to the quarterback. Not bad for a former high school safety, now playing outside linebacker in the NFL.
Loss of 9, and down the middle of the field, it is nearly intercepted. That's been a very good play for the Lions today, looking for Ebron. But that one nearly picked off by Joe Thomas.
Now, he spent all of last year as what they called their dime linebacker. When they're their dime set, 6 defensive backs, he'd be the linebacker on the field because he essentially has defensive back skills. At one point, there was a discussion in Green Bay about moving him into the secondary. But he's added 10 pounds to his frame, gotten stronger, and playing more downs, but hasn't lost his ability to range in the secondary.
And he had an interception week 1 that led to a Green Bay touchdown. Stafford in trouble. And Stafford will be dropped at the 15. That is technically not a sack. Perry, the guy who wraps him up and drags him down. So with 7:20 to play and the clock still rolling, the Lions down 14 will punt.
And this is why the ball was never thrown. Gunter there. Behind him, Kentrell Bryce. Look at the top of the screen. Demarius Randall, 23. Ha-Ha Clinton-Dix, 21. All the coverage there with no place to go with it. He tries to get out away from the rush, and Nick Perry runs him down.
So Martin punting, standing at his own 1-yard line. And waiting back is Trevor Davis at the 35. Flag is down. Davis still on his feet, trying to turn the corner, got a block. Another flag down, and a third flag down. Looks like you're cleaning up after a concert. There's so many flags out there and litter on the turf.
Guessing that concert wouldn't be like Mel Torme or anything.
No, it would not.
A little bit cleaner there, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, they have a lot to talk about here.
We got a few,
you got to get 3 or 4 different voices in on this one.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 28, return team. That penalty's declined. Illegal block in the back, return team. That penalty's accepted. 10 yards, first down, timeout.
All right, so a timeout on the field, both penalties against Green Bay. .6:36 to play. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers leading 34-20. Rodgers here in the second half is 1 for 3 for 13 yards. Now you look at his stats on the day, 13 completions and has 4 touchdowns. He's looking for the big one here, and it's dropped. Boy, he's seen plenty of that. That's Trevor Davis. Let's check in downstairs with Peter Schrager.
Hey, Tom, you know, Aaron Rodgers tweets about South Park a lot. So on Friday we asked, hey, have you ever met the guys behind South Park? And he said, actually, this summer, Trey Parker took him in Marina Del Rey to their studio and showed them the process of how they do a show. It's a 6-day span, just like an NFL game. How do you prepare? How do you prep? How do you get it set up? He said he met with Trey, and it was a learning thing about the process, and he respected the work they do, and he's a huge fan.
Yeah, Peter, you talk about the process of how they put a show together. I think what you're saying is that it looks like Detroit does a nice job of stacking that one up. But you're talking about the preparation of what they do to put a show on mimics the same type of preparation that Aaron Rodgers and the Packers do to put in a game plan, execute, play a game. And as he told us, whatever the results are, did that show hit for them on South Park? Was it a good show or not? No matter what, did you have a good game or not? You flush that, move on to the next week, come back, you try and do it a little bit better. So that's how he equated it and got a little bit of something from them in terms of the process that he's always talking about to prepare for a game.
Third down. and 11, and Rodgers lays it off to Starks out of the backfield, and he's just short of a first down. Now the clock will stop. Is a timeout called by Detroit here?
Did they call him out of bounds? And that's why they stopped the clock? I didn't see a signal for a timeout. Did anyone?
I did not see one either.
So they must have ruled him out of bounds.
Now.
Okay, now they've got it.
All right.
Yeah, they ruled him out of bounds on the sideline. That's why they stopped the clock.
Well, they're going to let as much time as possible roll off this clock before they punt it away. High snap, and just able to get it away. How about that? So now Roberts on the return up to the 38-yard line. Yeah, 5:05 left. How this game could have changed if this one ends up rolling above the punter's head.
This could have gotten the Lions right back in range in a hurry. Brett Good is the center. It's number 61. He's been a long-time long snapper, but he hurt an ACL last year and did get brought back to the last week of preseason. And the punter, Jacob Schum, how about him going up and getting this one? Now, normally your punters are these long, angular guys, but he's only 5'10", a compact guy. But he elevated and brought it down and got the punt away. Raphael Bush for Detroit almost got his hands on the ball. That could have been a huge play for Detroit. So the mechanics there, Brett Good still working out a few of the kinks, being back in the lineup after having to recover from ACL surgery and not being there for most of preseason.
But he's been a good one for a long time. All right. 5:05 to go. The Lions have all 3 timeouts remaining. And trailing by 2 touchdowns, they set up the screen to Riddick. And a good first down pickup of 9. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
A good game going on between Washington and the Giants, including a fake punt. Washington's Tress Way, 31 yards to Quentin Dunbar, set up the go-ahead field goal, and right now in the fourth quarter, it's 26-24. Washington trying to hold on. Tom Charles.
It's hard to believe that pass is complete.
How about that one?
Catch made by Bolden. That's a first down. And again, the Lions really needing now to pick up the pace. You're 2 touchdowns behind. You do have all 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning left.
Now they work on this all the time. They operate out of this no huddle a bunch, and they have the ability to play pretty fast, and they're going to need to continue to do so.
Stafford rolling right, chased by Daniels. He'll go ahead and keep it himself. And runs out of bounds to stop the clock with 4:10 left at the Green Bay 44-yard line.
You know, they lost Blake Martinez, Green Bay did. And you see Jake Ryan coming back in. And Blake Martinez is supposed to be the guy, that he's back out on the field now, but you see the effects of why they lost him, the bridge of his nose cut up. But Martinez is supposed to be more of the cover linebacker, Jake Ryan, the linebacker that thumps. Ryan's done a nice job getting better in pass coverage and ranging around.
Second down, all day to throw it. And boy, that's a tough one to thread the needle to Roberts. It looked like he had Bolden open down the middle of the field.
Takes a look, and when you have an arm like Matthew Stafford, you think you can fit it in anywhere. And he tried to fit one to the outside with pretty decent coverage by Demarius Randall.
Seven of 13 on third down for the Lions. They're down in 6 here. And across the middle, what a tackle that was right there, made by Perry. Or Riddick is running for a long time.
And a nice job recognizing the matchup he had. Green Bay only had 2 down linemen and people muddling around. They ended up bringing 5, but that left Nick Perry in coverage against Theo Riddick, and the Lions will take that matchup all day.
Stafford a pump fake, and falling down the defender and falling into the end zone with a touchdown is Marvin Jones Jr. And he's very close to a 200-yard receiving game today. In fact, that sends him over 200, 205 yards.
Damarious Randall's just having one of those days where he just can't stay on his feet when he needs to.
Well, that's 2 games in a row.
I mean, and that one, and truthfully, if you go back to the start of that play, Damarious Randall is not in a football position at all. He's standing straight up. The ball snapped. Then he tries to drop and move. And you know in this league, it doesn't take much for them to gain the advantage on you. And Marvin Jones took full advantage and took it to the end zone.
Well, a point after here. And all of a sudden, Charles Davis says it is good by Prater. This has become a 7-point game. And this crowd that was rocking and rolling in jubilation at halftime, all of a sudden wondering, can the Packers hang on?
Here's what you need to look for. Right up here. Now watch, you see Damarious Randall, see straight up, not in a position now. Now watch him. Now he's got to turn and run. And just that little bit right there, not being ready to go, in my humble estimation, that's what cost him. You know, if he's out there ready and in a nice little stance, getting ready to go, because Marvin Jones can run. And he just found out again as he ran past him. And Stafford with a beautiful pass. Puts it on him, and that was one of those where Stafford knew he was so open, don't miss the layup. Do not miss it. And he did not. And now Detroit is definitely in striking position.
Marvin Jones Jr. signed as a free agent leaving Cincinnati, where he played on some very, very good and explosive Bengal offensive teams. But he's doing the one blowing things up for his new team, the Lions. It's only the 10th 200-yard receiving game by a player in Detroit Lions franchise history. So now Randall hoping that the offense can do something. I mean, look, it's worth noting here. We talked so much about coming into the game. Green Bay's offense, a lot of questions about it. They looked unstoppable in the first half, scoring 4 touchdowns and a field goal. But Green Bay's offense in the second half has 3 points, 1 field goal. Zorn is here, and he's going to slay Fox Sundays, TV's most original new comedy. Son of Zorn comes to conquer tonight after The Simpsons, only on Fox.
He's a lefty. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice.
He's a lefty swordsman. So I know what family he's in. Okay, that's Jim Zorn's crew. But as you noted, Tom, look at the offense today. What'd you say about the points? Down in points, last 2 drives, no points for Green Bay. Here's where their offense, I think, goes back to trying to play as they did at the beginning of the game. I don't think that they go turtle here and just try and run it out. I think they end up trying to throw it some.
Well, on first down, they started on the ground. Now, if you're the Lions, do you spend a timeout right from the start? And the answer is yes. Lions will use their first of 3, stopping the clock here with 3:28. Well, it's been a long, long time since Detroit has won in back-to-back seasons here at Lambeau. In fact, a quarter of a century. Barry Sanders scoring the winning touchdown in 1990. Detroit rallied to win. Then the following year, Eric Kramer, remember him? 2 touchdowns. Mel Gray scored on a big punt return from 78 yards. And the Lions won 21-17. Now the Lions are the team that have blown double-digit leads in the fourth quarter in each of the first 2 games of this season. They rallied to win in Indianapolis, lost last week against Tennessee, and now they're the ones trying to come back here in week 3 in Lambeau. Second down, they hand it off again, and Lacy nowhere to go, and this is a huge third down coming up, and the crowd booing the conservative play calling of Mike McCarthy.
Well, you know, I'm surprised because of what I said at the start of this drive. I thought they'd go back and play and put the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands and let him create a little bit and try and pick up some first downs and see if they can bleed the clock out that way. Detroit's done an excellent job of stacking things up and making it difficult to find space. And look at Marvin Jones Jr. Just his offense in the second half ahead of what Green Bay's output is, or has been, I should say.
Well, this is the single biggest defensive play in this game by Detroit. Now, you could go back and say, well, if they'd have stopped the touchdown earlier, you'd be correct. But at this point in the game, this is a huge play. They need to get to the 35-yard line And Rodgers to throw it. Good protection. And now he's in trouble. Still on his feet. Lots of running room in front. Rodgers will pick up the first down to the 38-yard line. Well, he's been killing people doing that his entire career.
And this is why he was never able to throw the football. They plastered to every receiver. They were snug to them. There's Davante Adams, 17, but no window to throw it. But the offensive line, they understand their quarterback. They know that they can't just block for 3 seconds and call it a day. It's the extension. It's a little bit different than how Ben Roethlisberger does it, because usually someone bounced off of Ben and he creates and extends it. Aaron Rodgers, they know you continue to block, because he may make something happen with his legs.
2:34 and counting now. You have a 2-minute warning. Quick slant, and that's a pickup of 7 on first down to Davante Adams.
You know, as Mike McCarthy changed up after the first series, he ran it twice. They were able to pick it up on a long third down, and this time he said, forget it. Let's get back to what we do. Go ahead, Aaron, pitch it. And he picks up a nice gain on first down.
That'll be the final timeout the Lions have in their pocket after being unable to stop that third down play a moment ago.
So one more time, you saw the coverage before, but watch what these guys do, because they don't give up on plays because they know about their quarterback. Look how they stayed with. Look at Treader, 73, looking for someone. Now he's going to get out and run with him and try and create a little bit of an escort. But look, Bulaga 75, Lang is 70 in the middle, Treader 73, 65 Lane Taylor, who stepped in for Josh Sitton, who was let go right before the season and now is in Chicago. They don't just block initially, it's the continued. Who else can I pick up? Because my guy is going to create if we keep giving him time.
First game this season, the Green Bay Packers offense has eclipsed 300 total yards. Not passing yards. That used to be standard operating procedure for Aaron Rodgers. 300 total yards. And now Green Bay spins a timeout before the second down and 1. Well, here in the Green Bay Packers home opener, they brought back so many of the great legends, the biggest names in the history of football, not just Packer football.
Everywhere, and the biggest roar at the end, believe it or not, at least when I was locked in, you saw Mike Holmgren, the Big Show. He came out, they remember that recent Super Bowl. Of course, they remember the most revered teams in the 60s, which were Lombardi's Packers. There was Dave Robinson across the screen, and that crew. I thought I heard Jerry Kramer's name, who I'm going to say it should be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, it's hard to see when you watch some former players you remember, and then even after they finished playing, was the great Forrest Gregg. Such an imposing figure in age, certainly catching up as Lacy's had a big day, up over 100 yards today for Eddie Lacy. First time this year.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Lowe's.
Now the Packers in victory formation. Less than 2 minutes to go. He'll take the knee, and right before they snap that football, Aaron Rodgers telling his offensive line, good going.
He understands the stress he puts on an offensive line with his style of play. The dividends are phenomenal, right? He gets out there, he creates and makes a big play, but it's not easy for his O-line. And you see the game summary there. Big day for Aaron Rodgers, all in the first half, 4 touchdown passes, and Marvin Jones was magnificent for Detroit. And Eddie Lacy over 100 yards, first time in his last 8 games.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers only had 15 completions in this entire game. 15.
And that's okay when Eddie Lacy can run the ball.
That's right.
That's what they're looking for. If you get that, they'll take that all day long.
Well, the Packers extraordinarily are home for a month. That includes a bye week next week. But they have the Giants, Dallas, Chicago. We'll have the Dallas game for you on October 16th. They don't go on the road again until Halloween. When they go down to Atlanta, that one also on Fox. Now here in a moment, we're going to send you to some bonus coverage. A thrilling finish and a long way to go in the Meadowlands. The Giants trail the Washington Redskins 26-24. But more on that here in a moment. What we can tell you today is the Green Bay Packers go to 2-1. They win their home opener. Detroit slips to 1-2. Aaron Rodgers 4 touchdown passes today. Eddie Lacy runs for better than 100 yards, and the Pack feeling good after this 7-point win. Bonus coverage is coming up right around the corner. You're watching the NFL on Fox.